Whoa, salam
Wow.
alaikum, everybody. How are
Dude,
we
whenever
doing?
whenever I hear that chime, it just like gets my heart rate going so fast. It's almost as fast as when I finish a footlong too quickly and then I'm like on overdrive for the rest of the day.
Yeah, dude. I feel like, do you feel like as you're from start to finish of the footlong, do you eat faster, slower, or are you a consistent biter throughout each inch?
I think I try to demolish that thing as fast as possible, so pretty consistently, because the faster you get it over with, the less chance you'll regret it mid-meal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just like
Mm-hmm.
finish it and then regret it immediately after than, at halftime or something. What about you?
Yeah. So you would think that the natural progression would be to slow down as you're eating because you're getting more full of footlong. The footlong is leaving the wrapper and sitting in your stomach and piling up. But I'm the exact opposite. It ramps up the more footlong I eat. First half, game's a little slow. Second half, I'm whizzing through it. And it's because everything is starting to crumble. It's like the infrastructure of Detroit, it's falling apart. And I'm just trying to eat that thing so before it becomes just a puddle in my hand. So that,
Hmm.
and also it gets more and more intense with the sauce flavor. The closer to the tip that you get, and I just find that like that intensity fuels me, the drive in me more to eat that foot long.
Yeah, it unleashes the dog in you.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think the way you're describing it is kind of like when you eat with your girl. You know what I mean? Because like at the beginning, when the plate comes to the table, you're slow, right? You want to make sure that like Bae gets as much as she wants. You don't want to like eat it all
Mm-hmm.
and then she doesn't get to try it. So like you
Mm-hmm.
kind of start slow, and then when Bae starts to slow down, you're like, "Yo, you want that last piece?" And you're like, "No," and you just fucking demolish that last piece.
Dude, I love that moment. It's like the gates are open and I just
Oh
fucking,
yeah,
it's like Black Friday at Walmart. I'm
yeah. The whole
boy, I'm
time,
stampeding in there.
the whole time she's eating, I'm waiting at the door at Best Buy, like just fucking so excited to burst through the doors and eat the rest of the meal.
Yeah, dude, I'm literally like a hound dog at the bowl waiting for the owner to pour the kibble in.
Ooh.
Ow! Shit.
Oh man. Speaking of eating with Bay, I went to Nightingale the other night. Just a quick
Mhm.
little date night thing. I had to pick up Bay from a work function, so I said, "Hold your stomach. We're going for dinner after." And got to sit at the bar at Nightingale immediately after checking in at the hostess table, which was nice. I think it's the best seat in the house. I don't know why they don't assume you want to sit at the bar first, especially on date night, you know?
Mhm. Oh, dude, I love the bar at Nightingale. The way that they just slide the peanuts down the bar counter. Like, here you go.
It's the best spot to watch the curse of mixology in action. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You get to see all kinds of shit being made, and you're like, that sounds freaky. I want to try that one, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing is like if you're gonna spend like 18 plus dollars on a cocktail, you're actually paying for the entertainment factor. But if you're sitting at a
Hmm.
normal table, you miss out on that opportunity. So you're paying
Hmm.
for the full show, but you're skipping it. You're getting the just the beverage. And that's a real
Hmm.
shame. It's the same reason like why I never get takeout from real restaurants. I only get takeout from fast food because you're paying an upcharge for the environment, the experience, and the service, but then you're
Hmm.
not actually using that. So
Yeah.
if you're
To
ordering
be
cocktails, you
fair,
better be sitting at the bar.
you're paying DoorDash more to like make your food soggy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like they're delivering it to you, but at the same time they're making it objectively worse and not as fresh. And that's everything this podcast stands against.
dude, we eat fresh over here for sure.
Yeah, dude. I
It was
love
actually,
when
yep.
I'm sitting at the bar and they're like spinning my little old fashioned, getting it like nice and cold for me in the little glass
Mm,
decanter
mhm.
thing, and I'm just giddy. I'm just like waiting for them to, plop the little garnish on top and slide it towards me.
Yeah, dude. It's like my mouth starts salivating because I'm just imagining that cold beverage touching my lips, that first sip feeling. Whew, chills.
Dude.
Yeah. But speaking of eating fresh, I was trying to look up before this episode the average time it takes a sandwich artist to make a foot long, And the numbers that I'm getting online are clocking in at about 4.5 minutes. Does that sound correct to you?
4.5 minutes. What's the average toast time? Like, is it? It's like 45 seconds, right? So right away, you're
There's no way
losing
it's
a lot of time to that.
Yeah, dude, it's got to be faster than 45 seconds because 45 seconds is a pretty long time already, but it's an excruciatingly long time if you're just standing there avoiding eye contact with your artist. Their artist is like twiddling their thumbs and you look at your phone. It's like riding the elevator with somebody.
Yeah, true. When the elevator stops at like 3 floors on the way up to your penthouse apartment, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? This is taking
Mhm.
so long. Yeah, you're right. It's probably more like 30 seconds, but it is excruciatingly long. It's like longer than it needs to be.
Mhm.
However, I think the time does go by when you're like frantically just trying to figure out what to put on your sandwich. So like time's ticking away, but you're like looking at the veggie bin, you're like, pickles look
Mhm.
bad today. I don't know now.
It is actually like a happy accident for Subway that right like during the toasting, you're teeing yourself up to make the most complicated choice of the entire build. Like there's so many options there, and it's nice to
hmm
have a head start on the sandwich artist.
Totally. You're selecting the color and trim of your Mercedes Benz, and you're like,
Hmm.
do I get the night package? Do I hit
Hmm.
the 19-inch wheels? What's going on here? And
Yeah, dude, you
then
know
before
those
you
low
know it,
profile tires
ding.
cost an extra 10K, so you got to really think it
Exactly.
through.
Exactly. You
Ding.
gotta be ding. You gotta be willing to put up with that bumpier ride, but it looks better. So pros and cons, Ty.
Mhm. There are pros and cons. You're absolutely right, but I think
hmm
4.5 minutes feels a little bit too long. It's long enough that I wouldn't call it fast food. So Subway's done themselves correctly in that sense, but it's long enough that I think the sandwiches start to get soggy before it even hits the wrapper at 4.5 minutes. And I don't know if Subway's going slower lately or they've always been this about this speed because I don't know me, but I felt like sandwiches have just in general been more soggy. Like I'm noticing a trend. Like
Hmm.
they either turn back the toasting time 15 seconds to make up for lost minutes, or the sandwich artist is moving too slow, or maybe my unbeatable craving for sauces is what's screwing me. But I don't think it's that. I think it's one of the first two. Something's going on here. The bread doesn't have the same support systems in place that it did before. Am I
I
crazy?
don't know, man. I don't know because I think you are crazy, and I think you are also getting back to your ways by putting the red tomato sauce on the bun like immediately. Like that's the first
Hmm.
thing that touches the bread. And I
Hmm.
think that's a ticking time bomb. You know what I mean? It's a red sauce bomb. And the longer it takes for you to make your sub, exponentially it gets soggier?
Yeah, you're right. It's a high risk, high reward maneuver for sure. And I'm probably experienced actually is the repercussions of my own decisions. So
Hey, that's life, you know what I mean?
yeah, I
Sometimes you
know.
gotta face the repercussions.
Damn. When Subway teaches me a life lesson every time I
Wow.
go.
That's right. No cease and desist on this podcast yet. So, we're
Nope.
we're still cruising at 60,000 feet over here.
Hell yeah. Plenty of consent on this podcast.
Plenty of permission from Subway to talk negatively about them. Silence
Yeah.
is being a bystander. You know what I mean?
It's true. And I don't ever feel like I'm a bystander at Subway. That's the beauty of it. I am a complicit first degree sandwich maker, Eric.
You are guilty as charged, Ty,
Yeah,
for like
dude.
murdering your stomach insides.
Yeah, I'm in the lab. I'm Walter Whiting that footlong with my artist. Jesse, I call
Jesse,
him.
Jesse, I'm so hungry.
uh,
Dude, petition to start calling your sandwich artist, bitch.
dude, I saw the most insane AI generated image of Jesse and Walter White laying in bed together this morning, and Jesse's like leaning over him on the pillow, saying like, "What are we, Mister White?" It's like, damn, I
Jesus
did not
Christ.
need to wake up to this. The
Yeah, it's
internet
way
has
too
gone
early
too
to
far.
see that kind of shit. Damn,
Shit.
bro.
Yeah, it's wild. Speaking of internet,
Fuck.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you like architecture?
Do, do I like architecture? I would say
Hmm.
I'm probably a light enthusiast of
Hmm.
architecture.
Hmm.
Same
Yeah,
with the sauce collection at Subway. I would say I'm an enthusiast.
a sauce enthusiast for sure. I consider
Mhm.
myself an architecture enjoyer myself. Um, but my
If
follow up
you
question to
live,
you is,
if you're
yeah,
not homeless, then technically you're an architecture enjoyer. You know what I mean?
if you're homeless, you are an architecture observer. I choose not to
You're merely a
participate.
fan. You're merely a fan of architecture if you live under an overpass, but if you're inside of a building, then you're participating in texture.
Yeah, you're complicit. You're a first degree architecture enthusiast. Congratulations.
It's a good distinction.
Uh, damn. I mean, in a way, Subway is architecture, both the buildings themselves, but more so the inception of a sandwich. It's, I feel like
Mhm.
I, in a way, the menu is the blueprint, or maybe the blueprint is in your brain. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like that's like a
mean,
Tizo touchdown lyric.
yeah, dude. I think personally, we all walk into Subway with a vision. You know what I mean? It's like, I
Hmm.
want to eat this today. And that makes us the architect in this case. And then
Hmm.
what we have to do after that is we have to relay our designs and our vision over to the engineer, which is inappropriately named the sandwich artist.
Hmm.
And they're the ones who have to construct it. So at what point does the blueprint actually get conceived? Is that in the sandwich artist's brain, or is it in between their fingers? Is the
I
sandwich
don't
the
know,
blueprint?
man. There's such a crux point here, this lost in translation moment where my blueprint and their engineering need to come together. And I don't think that Subway really. I think they kind of are dropping the meatball in at that particular moment because they're relying on the individual artist and the individual patron to communicate to determine what goes on the sandwich. And if you think about like the different artists out there already, it's kind of whack. But then you think about the patrons there, and the patrons are absolutely absurd. I've seen people in there
Mhm.
that like they order without saying a word. There's people there that are like completely oblivious to what's going on. There's so many like weirdos and freaks going into the subway, or at least where I'm hanging out, and so every single one of those interactions is going to be different, and that's going to create an inconsistency in the sandwiches that the artist is able to produce. So if I was Subway, I would figure out how do we fix that communication problem? How do we merge this both sides of the sneeze guard?
Well, I think they've tried in the past. You know what I mean? The most recent attempt would be the numbered menu, which is like, if I can just tell the artist a number, then they have to turn around and read what the number means. You know what I mean? And then I guess that is the only way to communicate. And like most people know how to count to 10 in like multiple languages. So
Hmm.
that helps a lot, I think.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
does help. But
know.
dude, but the problem though is there's like 16 Subway Series sandwiches. So what if you want one of the signature sandwich on the tail end of that? Like, good luck saying 14 in Japanese.
Damn, you're right. My knowledge ends right at 10. Is there
Same.
16 though? I thought it was 10. It's not 10?
I don't think it's 10. Subway Series sandwiches. Let me just pull up a picture of the menu here. I will verify live on pod how many are in the series. Okay, I can confirm that there's 12. So I
Obviously.
over indexed. I overshot the greens, I overshot the veggies.
You really chipped it. Um, but you know what? 12 is pretty manageable. The last two are probably vegetarian anyway. You know
They
what I mean?
are.
So like you don't have to worry too much about saying 11 or 12. It's just like 1 through 10.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not coming up.
what if there was a secret like number 13 or number 0?
Bro, we should order the 13 next time we're there and see what
Hmm.
happens. I guarantee it's a secret menu thing that they've been trained it for, but just no one's tried it
Hmm.
yet.
Yeah. It's kind of like that bar in Chinatown where you say you want the number 7 and then you like get
Mhm.
let like the fridge opens into like a doorway with like a staircase or something. And then if you like ask for the number 8, there's like another door. It's like what's going on here?
Dude, don't even try the 9, man. You just walk right through the building, pop out in
Yeah,
the alley on
dude.
the backside.
Yeah, the number
No.
9 is you end up at the number 5 orange.
Ooh, hopefully not.
Um, I've yet to actually try dining there. It's been impossible to get in.
Yeah, wait. Oh, at the speakeasy. Yeah, totally. Sorry, I ended up in there. I've been rejected many times. Being rejected from a speakeasy is a shitty feeling as a man
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
like, do
like,
I
how did
give
you
off
not know how to
like,
get in?
yeah, or it's like, do I give narc energy? Like, I'm not allowed to go in there because I might like blow out its cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But at speakeasies, you're going to get the most enthusiastic and like animated mixologists because they need to play into their theme.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like with oppression comes like better art. It's like they're like cosplaying as oppressed artists, you know what I mean? And so when you like
Hmm.
go into the speakeasy, they're like, I'm not allowed to be doing this. Or at least that's like a figment of my imagination. And so
Hmm.
therefore I'm gonna go crazy with the twirling the bottles and stuff, you know?
Oh, for sure. If you want a really good mixologist, you need to keep them in there. Don't let them leave. Physically oppress them.
It's kind of like when teachers like, they don't go home, right? They just sleep at school.
Hmm.
I think that's
Pretty
the
sure
same
that's
thing
what
with
happens.
mixologists. Like they don't actually, they're not like real people. They're NPCs. They just kind of like power off at night when it's last
Hmm.
call. They just turn off.
I'm fairly confident I've walked into a Subway and seen a sandwich artist sleeping on a cardboard box in the back room.
Definitely seen that as well. But what do you think the speakeasy equivalent of at Subway would be? Like, do you think the sneeze guard becomes a like ladder? You just like climb down, and then there's like a hidden, I don't know, what's down there, Ty?
Yeah, okay. So there's a few things we need to figure out here. How do you get in? And then what's in it? There, I think it would be cool to use a more um famous or infamous aspect of Subway's architecture for the entrance. Like it'd be cool if you had to reach up to the fake potted plant on the fake brick wall and pull it down, and then like one of the big pictures of a tomato like pulls open to reveal a hole.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I like
It would
that
explain
too.
why the subways here have like maintained aspects of their original architecture. It's like it's not in the budget to like redo the revolving door, you know?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Like, oh, shit, it would be too much of a redesign. The second cool idea, Eric, would be two toasters. One is a functioning toaster, and the other one you have to crawl through to get into the speakeasy.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
So
a
you
little
just open
spelunking
the
action.
toaster? Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. I don't know if people will be comfortable climbing into a toaster. There might be some like hesitation there. You know what I mean?
Tell me more about that. I don't know what you mean.
Would you climb into a toaster if someone said like, "Yeah,
I,
hop in"? You think that you would just be like willy nilly, like, "Yeah, let's go"?
yeah, dude. I'm gonna like Hansel and Gretel that thing and go chase down those breadcrumbs. Munch, munch. I'm a little mouse. Get me in there.
Interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, I imagine there is some kind of secret menu item as well. Like, there just has to be. Like, I refuse to believe that Subway doesn't have some kind of like secret, maybe it's an ingredient or like some kind of option to like supercharge your sub. Like the garlic oil is like it's like getting there. It's like getting to that level of like
Mm.
no one really knows about it. And when you do it, it just goes crazy on your sandwich no matter what.
Yeah, dude, the garlic oil is the turbocharger of the ingredients. But I think
Hmm.
the only secret ingredient that's at Subway that's present in that restaurant that you might be able to access if you ask nicely is whatever the sandwich artist brought for lunch. Because at a certain point, they need to stop eating Subway, right? So you're like, you got a PB and J back there. Can I scrape some of that J off? You know,
Oh
like
no,
I'll give
J
you a
off.
big fat tip.
Please, I just need J off. I need a J off, dude, so bad.
Do you want to go in the back room and J off?
Damn. And sandwich artist looking at you sideways, like, what the fuck did you just say?
Hmm.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if I would trust that ingredient. But then again, like nothing at Subway is really that trustworthy. You
It's
know?
true. Shit.
Shit, dude.
It's a really good
Um,
point.
hey, speaking of trustworthy, I put a lot of trust into a sommelier yesterday.
Tell me more.
This was after our tennis activation last night. Friend of the
Mm,
pod, Patrick and I went to Bar Susu, which is on Main
mm.
Street. It was my first time over
Susu.
there. Bar Sus. I thought it was pretty fun. the waitress recommended a bottle of wine for us because we were like, okay, tell us, what's good here. And then she's like, um, okay, what are you in the mood for? And then we said, we're feeling like something orange today. And
The
then,
orange cheese, please.
yeah, orange cheese and toasted. Toast that up, will ya? Um, and then she's like, okay, do you want to get, freaky with it, or do you want to keep it kind of like approachable? And we said, let's get freaky. So we
Hmm.
got this bottle of wine from the Okanagan, I believe, and she described it as the hazy IPA of wines.
That sounds intense.
That
Are
sounds.
you sure you were up for that challenge, Eric?
It sounded charged up, but then I was like, I mean, it's wine, so it has to be already stronger than an IPA. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what's going on
Hmm.
here? But
Hmm.
she poured it up for us, and she said it would like start off tasting like a creamsicle, but then you would almost get like hits of tobacco and like smokiness afterwards. And I was like, tell me more. This sounds amazing.
Damn. Sounds like a
Yeah, so
boy
yeah.
lunch.
Creamsicle and Sig. Fuck, boy lunch, dude. That's sick. But yeah, it tasted pretty good, man. It tasted exactly like a citrus IPA. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie, pretty good. That
Quenching.
place had good food too.
Dude, that place is funny. I like how their bread and butter, they make the bread the shape of the word susu. I think that's a
Hmm.
really nice touch. Real brand
It caught me
propelling
off
moment.
guard. It made me smile, which is probably the whole point of that. And
Dude, yeah.
then we immediately like scraped off the last U to make it say sus.
Nice. Sus. Makes me think like why doesn't Subway like make a foot long that's the word foot long, you know? You
Or
ever get
like
those
with
donuts?
sauce.
Like the specialty donuts, and they shape each donut in a different letter? You could do that with
Mm.
sandwiches to spell like happy birthday, Eric. Oh, that'd be so
Mm.
sick.
I like that quite a lot.
The
I'm
sauce would
thinking
be a good
about
touch though too.
yeah, absolutely. Like put some fucking performance into your sandwich making. You know what I mean? You call yourself an artist. Why not
Hmm.
drizzle, you know, my name or some secret message before you plop down that last piece of bread?
Hmm. But what if they like you have a disgruntled artist, you weren't a very good patron, at the very end, they're squeezing the sauce in, and it kind of looks like something like "I'm going to kill you" in a script font or something, just written in the light mayo. And then you challenge them on, it,
Mhm.
you're like, "Hey, that's a threat," and they're like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "I'm just saucing it."
It's like, no, that's what you're gonna say to the sandwich.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill that with my mouth.
Exactly. I was pretty impressed with the bread and butter, dude. I'm kind of like a bread and butter guy,
Hmm.
and I will always order the bread and butter because you can't miss.
It's kind of my thing.
It's kind of my thing, dude. Think about
I
it.
get that.
You get it.
Dude, I am a bread and butter guy. I carb load everywhere I go because I can't get the meats. And
I
I
do.
love bread and butter because it just feels like the most essential ingredient of life, you know? It's like the
Hmm.
water of food.
It really
Sparkling.
is, Ty. It really is. I think bread needs to go with more meals, if you ask me. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like more meals should just have like a slice of bread on the side. Like it
Yeah,
goes
dude.
well with anything.
Yeah, dude. That's why I like going out for food with you because you are also a breadhead. So you and I are like Walter and Jesse, breaking bread together.
Absolutely, dude. I give you one end, I'm holding on to the other, and then we like
Yeah.
ceremoniously rip the bread in half every single time.
No,
Whoever
I'm
gets the
like,
bigger piece has to pay, though.
it's like, what are we, Walter? And you're like, co-hosts.
Oh fuck. What's that
Jeez.
fucking wretched bitch's name from that show?
I don't know, dude.
His wife. What's their name again?
I can only remember male actor names.
Damn. Walter Jr. obviously
Yeah, yeah.
top three actor on that show.
One of the best juniors too, like up there with Donald.
Oh, Skylar.
Skyler,
Skylar.
classic child name.
Skylar, where's the money? Skylar, where's the money?
Shit. So before you went to Bar Susu, you hinted to the breadheads a bit of foreshadowing or fork shadowing, if you will. Nah, that pun didn't work. that you and I were in
Oh,
court together, hitting the courts. I gotta say, Eric, I just want you to know you played exceptionally well on the tennis court last night. I
thank
felt
you.
like I was always so deep in the back of the court that I was gonna sink. I was the Titan sub, the Titan Subway sandwich of the tennis match, and dude, I was drowning out there.
Hmm. Yeah, you often play like the outside of the tennis court is lava,
Hmm.
and you want to stay like safely in the middle. But I was pushing you all the way to the corners, and you were
Yeah,
getting
dude.
those balls, dude. You were chasing them down, hitting them
Hmm.
back, and some of those rallies were longer than I expected. And you got me a few times as well.
Yeah, dude, I was a little gopher on that court running around, trying my best,
Yeah, dude, you were going for it.
going for it. Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. I think, obviously I got there like an hour before you did, and the warm up. This is the first time I've like warmed up extensively for a game,
A
and
proper toasting.
I understand warming up now. You know what I mean? As an
Mm.
athlete, like hopping in ice cold is, you're warming up the first few games, so you got to like really
Hmm.
work on that swing.
Yeah, it must help because all athletes do it. See, I jumped in no toasting, and I
Hmm.
thought I was fine because I'm not a professional athlete. So I thought, what difference will it make? But then when I continuously got absolutely mauled by you, I realized that either I'm just bad at this sport or warming up makes a difference, or both.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. It's a little bit of both. But yeah, that was a fun activation.
Really was.
um, yeah, this is like the second tennis court that we had to find because now this is the second time in a row now where our first choice is just taken over by pickleballers. And
Oh, pickleballers.
nothing makes me more upset than pulling up to a tennis court and seeing two families take up two different tennis courts when like they're using like 25% of the square footage of the tennis court.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
It
dude.
makes me so angry that I don't even ask them how long they're going to be. I just leave immediately.
Just to be clear, this is a pro pickle podcast, but this is an anti pickleball podcast. There's a difference.
Pickles
Um,
should be on
and
subs
me,
only.
I agree, and off the courts. Now, I have a big problem with them too, Eric, because I don't think it's a real sport, and
It's not.
I'm the guy that defines what is and isn't a sport. That's my job.
You're really good at that because you accept all games. You know what I mean? You're willing to try games, whereas like I'm not willing to try games at all.
Hmm.
Games should be left off of like professional level surfaces. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like if you're gonna play
I agree.
pickleball, do it in a park or like in a parking lot or in a cul-de-sac. You know what I mean? That's like the perfect place to chalk up some lines, put a net
Hmm.
there, and get to pickling. You know what I mean? Are
Yeah,
you a
dude.
pickler?
Have a pickling night. And I don't even, the worst part about this sport though is that it's okay, two reasons. One, I think it's invented by property, like real estate developers, to continually create a sense of comfort in millennials that they can occupy small spaces to this is my conspiracy, so that
Okay.
people are like more willing to buy a studio and junior one bedroom apartments because they're like, even my sports are small, I'll feel comfortable here. It's all about brainwashing. That's reason number one. Reason number two is that there's no actual movement happening on the sport. I walked past a few pickleball courts and it's a bunch of young people spending an evening. They think they're getting exercise, but they haven't even taken like 15 steps. They haven't even
Hmm.
swung. They're just gabbing.
Hmm. You're absolutely right. At my local tennis court, there's always people there that are like in their 50s and
Hmm.
up, and they play for like 4 hours. You know what I mean?
4 hours.
They play for so long, Ty. They bring lawn chairs, they bring their kids, their dogs. They
Ugh.
bring like incense, like citronella, like incense, and like sandwiches, and they just like sit there and like rotate off. It's impossible to kick them off because there's always a fresh set of people playing. So you can't kick them off because you're like, hey, how long have you been here? And they're like, oh, we just started. But it's like they've had the court for like 8 hours. You know what I mean?
It's
But I
quite the
envy those people.
yeah, they're really camping out though, squatters' rights.
Hmm.
I do like the sandwich part. That sounded cool, but everything else sounded like kind of intense. Too
Mhm.
intense for what the activity is. You burn more calories eating pickles than playing that game.
The thing about this, Ty, in my neighborhood, it's the most lively area. Like, forget all the bars and the breweries and the wine bars and all that stuff. The most lively
Mhm.
area is the tennis court. And
Mhm.
it's something I can get behind. You know what I mean? You walk by, people are playing until 11 p.m. The lights are on. People are like hanging out, smacking some balls, talking shit,
Mhm.
playing with the
Oh, I love
kids.
talking shit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's such a vibe, and I makes me proud to live in this neighborhood.
I get that. The social scene is unbeatable. And even the pickleball social scene is quite mature. So I got to give them that. They have found community, even if it's around the dorkiest activity possible.
It's dorky, but tennis isn't like it's not like you can't do tennis. You know what I mean? If you can play pickleball and you're like
Hmm.
65, you can pick up a racket and like hit a ball across a net. It's probably
Hmm.
easier to do that because there's more bounce on the tennis racket, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. Less force.
Exactly.
I think it's
It's
just the
all technique.
serving. I don't think that an old person has any other reason to lift their hand directly in the air other than serving. So it
Yeah,
might
that's true.
hurt.
Or like bingo night, like, we got to put your hand up at bingo night. That's
Oh,
about it.
you're right. Wow.
Hmm.
So they can't play tennis because they have to reserve their arm for bingo night.
Yeah, they serve with their right, they bingo with their left. It's pretty
Nice.
straightforward, actually. Damn,
Yeah.
dude. And also, old people are professional. Can I get the bill? People, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're like
But they've got it down
very
to eye contact
calculated.
only.
Yeah, eye contact or a very calculated wave. You know what I mean? Like they're able
Mhm.
to just like perfectly time it so they don't have to keep their hand up for very long. They just go like, boom, done.
You know why? Dude, you ever go for a meal with an old person? They are like a panther hunting the server the minute their last bite is in. Last
Hmm.
bite, no dessert. They are watching that server like a lioness, like
Hmm.
prowling the savannah, waiting for the opportunity to strike the gazelle. As soon as the gazelle
Hmm.
lets their guard down, two fingers up, Bill, little nod, it's coming. It's
Absolutely
incredible.
masterful.
Yeah.
Wow.
How do they do it?
Yeah, lots you can learn from old men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like never talk to an old man after he's finished eating. That's the worst time to ask an old man a question
Yeah,
because
they're
they are
working.
locked in. They're on shift now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. They don't work 9 to 5 anymore, but they work from like 6:30 to 6:45, ready to get the bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 12-minute window must be so intense for them.
Absolutely. Wow.
Hmm.
Absolutely
Hunter instincts
inspiring.
really kicking in.
It really is. Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Um, King, it's been a great pod. I'm looking forward to getting outside. I think it's the last nice day before it rains for
Hmm.
like two
Ever.
years straight.
Hmm.
So yeah, probably hit a patio and try a sparkling red. Maybe we'll see.
I love that for you, King. I'm heading to Whistler in like 2 hours to take in some ocean views and then some mountain peaks. So think fresh, everybody. Stay sunny, and we'll catch you next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.